GameCube.
You know, my friends and I have this inside joke about how Nintendo should raise the price of the Switch 2 instead of dropping the price. I think Nintendo noticed and took that literally. So yeah, it happened. The Switch 2 is getting a price hike, just like all the other consoles have. It really was not a matter of if, but when. And I do realize that I'm very late when it comes to talking about this, and honestly, this is actually my second time recording this video. I originally recorded Take very shortly after the price hike was announced, and I didn't really have a core focus with that recording. It was more so just a mix of really frustrated emotions alongside the concerns and questions that would come from it. But since then, we have gotten some more news about the Switch 2 that sort of helped me to change my stance up a little bit. And now I think I have a much finer grasp on what is it I really want to say. But let's stick with the main point first. The price increase of the Switch 2. I'm not going to go into the reasons why this is happening because this has been such a common practice over the past couple of years at this point, specifically when it comes to market conditions, and you basically already know what I'm going to say. Tariffs this, economy that, chip shortage this, society that. You've likely heard about all of that time and time again by now. I'm not going to bore you with that spiel. So the price hikes are starting in Japan specifically, and by the time this video goes live, the price hikes will have already basically taken place on May 25th. Though they specifically mention the Japanese language only system is getting a price hike in Japan, from close to 50,000 yen to close to 60,000. And all the models of the Switch 1 are going up by around 10,000 yen as well. Here in the US, alongside Canada and Europe, the price hike is surprisingly taking its time to go into effect. They're waiting until September 1st, which, given the market conditions on display, I'm kinda surprised they're not doing it sooner, but hey, at least this gives people ample time to actually pick up a Switch 2 before the price hike takes into effect. That's something you really couldn't say about the PlayStation 5. So in the States, it's going up from $449 to $499, the same price as the Mario Kart World bundle they had at launch, just now without a game. In Canada, the price is changing from $629 to $679, and if you are a Canadian that's watching this, the way you guys handle the dollar is insane. I'm praying for you people. And then Europe, it's going up from £469 to $499. Now, is this the biggest price hike in the world? No, especially compared to what PlayStation and Xbox did. I get that everyone handles money differently, but I can imagine that someone who's in the market to buy a $450 console can save up a little bit more to just afford a $500 console, but that doesn't change the fact that making a product more expensive over time, and there is no extra perks that come with it, it's just the same product, just more expensive now, especially in a medium that's already as expensive as video games, is really unfortunate. I don't want people to spend more money on video game hardware than they should be. And the fact that this is still the cheapest option of the big three goes to just show how bad the industry is right now when it comes to this sort of thing. And I wish that I could say that the fear of this happening didn't influence my decision to get a Switch 2 on day one. And while I'm not gonna sit here and act like it was the biggest reason, yeah, it is unfortunate that I have to consider that now. Now, there is a bit of a silver lining here beyond just waiting until September for the price increase to take effect over here, and this is kind of the reason why I wanted to re-record this video. And that is that around the time frame of this video, Nintendo has a new Switch 2 bundle out that you can buy right now for $500 that's very similar to the Mario Kart World one they had at the launch of the system, but now you get to choose between one of 3 games you can download onto the system for free. Those being Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bananza, and Pokemon Pokopia. And that, I think, helps influence the answers that I want to give when it comes to the big question. Should you buy a Nintendo Switch 2 right now before the price hike takes effect if you don't already have the console? Now, when it comes to any piece of video game game hardware, no one is going to have the correct answer to that question than you. And if you do not think that the Switch 2 is worth it right now, that's totally fine. Don't buy it. Anyone that says that you should buy a product right now out of fear that it will be more expensive, even if you don't want it, is not a person that is worth listening to. What I think is the objectively correct answer to should you buy a Switch 2, or any console for that matter, is look at the lineup of games that are readily available right now or are confirmed to come in the future, and see if there are enough games that interest you to warrant you putting down that much money. If there are, then yeah, absolutely save up the money and buy one. If not, wait till more games come out. I mentioned this in my Nintendo YouTubers video, and I will say it again. You should not buy a console with the hopes that you'll get something good out of it in the future. You buy a console because there's enough readily available for you right now that you know you'll enjoy, and with the hopes that you'll get more out of it in the future. If you're buying a product, or if you're a kid and asking your parents to buy your product solely based off of hopes and dreams, you're gonna get diminishing returns. I got diminishing returns when I did that with the Wii U when I was a teenager. And aside from a couple of pretty dang good games on it, I will never say I regret getting the Wii U, but I do think it was more of a burden on my family and I than I would like to admit. If you do that same thing with the Switch 2, my brother, you're probably a lost cause. Now that being said, if you do want my personal recommendations, I'd be happy to give them. So if you're not like me, and you do not care about physical media at all, you primarily just play your games digitally, then yes, I think the Choose Your Game bundle is absolutely worth springing towards if you do want a Switch 2. You'll be saving 20 to 30 bucks on a really good, really big game, should any of the three interest you. And out of the three games in the bundle, I personally cannot speak on the quality of Pokemon Pokopia since I haven't played the game yet. I don't know when or even if I will, since the whole game key card thing kind of burnt me. I'll probably just get it digitally at some point, or if they do decide, hey, we'll do a proper physical version, then we'll see. But out of Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bananza, it's really gonna depend on if you prefer playing single-player games or multiplayer games. If you're springing for multiplayer, then yes, Mario Kart World is the obvious choice. And in terms of savings is the better choice, since you'll be saving $30 on that game instead of $20 in the case of Bananza and Pokopia. And I do definitely have my issues with Mario Kart World, like the route system and online not being the greatest, but still a solid Mario Kart game at its core with a lot going for it. I would still say Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the better game overall, but if you're getting World as a freebie with your console, I'd bite for it. Definitely not worth 80 bucks though. Now if you're looking for a solid single player experience first and foremost, then yeah, Donkey Kong Bananza is gonna be the better pick. And in my opinion, I think it's the better game compared to Mario Kart World in general. It's just a really solid 3D platformer with tons of heart, tons of expression in the moveset, really fun level design and missions. I really do not think you'll regret it if you go for Bananza. Outside of those three games, the only other Nintendo title that I have gone out of my way to purchase on the console is Kirby Air Riders, and Kirby Air Riders is freaking awesome. I would say that's better than Mario Kart World as well, though in terms of online, you're obviously gonna find more rooms in Mario Kart if that's what you care about. Beyond that, it's really just up to you. And from my experience with the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, which, side note, that also is getting a price hike, though thankfully only in Japan and South Korea for some reason. Being able to easily access a very expensive library of Nintendo GameCube games like Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness and Chibi Robo and Fire Emblem Path of Radiance is definitely a nice perk to have, as well as being able to play Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom at 60 frames per second. Those games play like a dream on the Switch too. I also did just pick up Indiana Jones and the Great Circle on the Switch 2, a really big third-party game. I haven't gotten around to playing it yet, but I've heard so many amazing things from people about it, and the Switch 2 version is apparently really solid. There is a solid variety of games that you can play on the Switch 2 right now, both from the first-party side and the third parties. It's just a matter of how many unique experiences you can get out of the Switch 2 that are meaningful enough to you to determine if it will be worth the money to you or not. That that is something you can only determine for yourself, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. In conclusion, yes, it was inevitable and unfortunate that the Switch 2 was going to be more expensive down the line. But don't let that determine whether or not you should get the console. If you're looking at the thing and assume that it's a $500 paperweight, getting said paperweight at $450 is not going to help you at all. It'll just burn a hole in your pocket that you could have spent on eggs or something, I don't know. God bless and have a good one. Bye-bye!